It was history in the making. A new nation was born that day on the 12th of December 1963. The Kenyan people shed tears of joy for a freedom that was won through sweat, blood and tears of a painful battle. Yes, it was indeed Uhuru for Kenya, and Kenya is now set to celebrate the Golden Jubilee. Here at KTN, we celebrate the nation's numerous achievements, the pride of the Kenyan people, our renowned world beaters on the racetrack, our hospitality, our spirit of resilience and togetherness. Yes, we are proud to be Kenyan, and this will be reflected on our series Kenya at 50. You saw our first story last night, and there will be one every day until Jamhuri Day. Tonight, John Alanamu brings you the story of that first Kenyan birthday as told by people who saw it for themselves that day 50 years ago.
December 1963, Kenya became a self-governing state.
The Kenyan flag flutters proudly in every corner of this country. Always above the din of ordinary Kenyan life. Sometimes unnoticed, even taken for granted. But what it symbolizes for every Kenyan who lives free is something that perhaps only those who lived in a time before freedom can truly understand. The year is 1963. Much has happened prior to the 12th of December. Kenya has already gained internal self-rule, and the guns from battlefields across many parts of Kenya have long fallen silent. But ripe as a country was for independence, it also was deeply traumatized by the war and the emergency period.
This Mau Mau is a lawless and savage organization.
Over 200,000 Kenyans had been arrested during the emergency period, and by 1960, about 14,000 Mau Mau adherents were still behind bars, undergoing a brutal gauntlet of torture and confinement that came to be known as a pipeline.
Some behind wire are fanatics, men who have taken degrading and beastly oaths, which put them beyond the pale of human society.
Then Prime Minister Jomo Kenyatta had spent a lot of time trying to build bridges of trust between the Kenyans that collaborated with the British and those who fought against the colonialists, as well as the colonialists themselves.
Neither those who were in the forest nor those who were royal or home guard have anything to fear at all, because I think all of them are brothers and sisters.
One of the gestures meant to show that freedom truly was coming was a release from prison of men and women who had fought in the Mau Mau and the Land Defense Army. 81-year-old Mwangi Kairichi was one of them.
Nilizaliwa hapa katika Rift Valley.
He had served 5 years in committee prison for being a member of the Mau Mau.
Wakati bendera iliteremka, bendera ndio ilinifungua. Kwa sababu kifungo changu niliwachiliwa tarehe 7 1963.
As the nation prepared for independence, Kenyatta had dispatched members of his cabinet to areas that were home to Mau Mau fighters for them to voluntarily surrender their weapons.
Wakati huo ndio nilikuwa nikisindikisha bunduki kwenda Rulengo. Kuokota katika Rift Valley na Nyanza kuisukuma Rulengo. Nilichukua muda hapo nikifanya hiyo mpaka ikatayarika.
Many of the Mau Mau were unsure that the shackles of colonialism truly were about to fall away, but hoped that what they saw and heard about freedom being around the corner was true.
We want to rule our country.
89-year-old Timothy Mwicha has a different recollection of that period. He was among the small but growing number of Africans working in the civil service. Men and women who, despite the close contact with the colonialists, were often unable to rise above the rung of clerical work. He was a clerical worker for the colonial government at the Kahawa Barracks and was in Nairobi at the time when plans were being made for December the 12th. It was an exciting period.
Wakati huo ilikuwa nawekwa radio kila siku, unakwenda ilikuwa nawekwa viti, unakwenda sikiza kile Kenya inaendelea. Kenyatta alitangaza akasema mkoloni akishakwenda sasa Mwafrika akajitawala.
Mwicha knew that he would be among the Africans who Kenyatta would likely depend on to build a truly Africanized civil service. So independence bore significance to him not only as a black Kenyan, but as a black semi-professional worker. Then the day came. In front of thousands at the historic Uhuru Park, Jomo Kenyatta would sit down and sign the Articles of Independence in the presence of members of the British monarchy and the colonial government. But a celebratory moment for many Africans would come later. Timothy made his way to Uhuru Gardens, where the Union Jack would be lowered. Kairichi would make his way to El Burgon in the Rift Valley, where, alongside many freedom fighters, he would wait to savor that moment that he had fought for. Midnight struck and the Union Jack was lowered, and up went the Kenyan flag, resplendent in the colors that primary school children are now taught about: red, black, and green.
Tukapika makobi majo teremu. Unajua tulikuwa tunaongoja saa 6.
Kwa kuwa nilipata utawala kabisa, nikatawala, nikapokea elimu, mashamba bali ngali Kenya, ningefikiria msuni tena kufanya nini na mambo yametayarika.
By law, Kenya was now free, and both Timothy and Kairichi would await the fruits of this freedom in a land that they, up to this day, are proud to call their own. John Allen Namu, KTN, for the Kenya at 50 series.